The story of the patriarchs in Genesis is filled with unseemly behavior, even on the part of the patriarchs themselves. I began with Jacob and his scheming nature, but I could have started with Abraham and Sarah. The family presents as completely and thoroughly human, warts and all, which I think not only makes the Bible real, by which I mean honest, but it also serves to underline that this is an enterprise that is a God thing. Only God could take such an unruly bunch of people and fashion a nation set apart for service to God and for blessing to the world. But dreams and schemes do not end with the stories of the patriarchs. We can easily follow this thread throughout the Bible. Today we'll take a look at one especially important dream dreamt by an especially important figure, King Solomon. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Ask anyone in any church or synagogue around the world who Solomon was, and they'll mumble a few things. Some who read the Bible regularly will place him as the third king of Israel, the son of King David, who himself followed Saul, the first king. Some will remember that he built the first temple in Jerusalem, an accomplishment God denied to his father David. Still others will remember that following Solomon, Rehoboam and Jeroboam divided the kingdom of Israel into two kingdoms, Israel in the north with its capital in Samaria, and Judah in the south with its capital in Jerusalem. And still others will remember that he had many, many wives. But one thing virtually everything will mention is his wisdom. The wisdom of Solomon begins with a dream. We read about it early in 1 Kings. Solomon succeeds his father David after his death and immediately enters into strategic alliance with the Egyptians by marrying the daughter of Pharaoh, foreshadowing his ultimate downfall. For the moment, it is footnote quickly forgotten because of the importance of the dream that he has. Now, the irony of the dream is where it takes place. For not only has Solomon married a foreign woman, he has already apparently been participating in the worship of other gods. We read, Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of his father David, only he sacrificed and offered incense at the high places. The king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the principal high place. Solomon used to offer 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. Well, based on this, you'd think the next verses would be the sort of boilerplate condemnation of the king that we find throughout most of the history of the kings of Judah and Israel. Instead, we get a story about a dream where God appears to Solomon while he is at Gibeon, the principal high place. We read, At Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask what I should give you. Far from condemning or even chastising Solomon here, God simply asks Solomon what he wants from God. Absolutely the opposite from what we would expect. But Solomon's dream and his response to it is simple. He asks for the wisdom to know how to govern the Hebrew people. Now, this is a response God approves. God responds with these words, It pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this. God said to him, Because you have asked this, and have not asked for yourself long life or riches, or for the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right, I now do according to your word. Indeed, I give you a wise and discerning mind. No one like you has been like you, and no one shall be like you afterward. I give you also what you have not asked, both riches and honor all your life. No other king shall compare with you. If you will walk in my ways, keeping my statutes and my commandments as your father David walked, then I will lengthen your life. Well, this raises all sorts of questions, doesn't it? Why would God offer to give Solomon, even if in only a dream, whatever he wished for? Why wouldn't God chastise him for marrying an Egyptian princess who was sure to bring foreign gods into Israel? Why wouldn't God rebuke Solomon for making sacrifices at the high places, which was absolutely forbidden? Is it because God already knows something of Solomon's inner heart, that he was apparently sincere in his desire to rule well? These are questions we simply cannot answer with any finality, but what we do know is that this dream apparently changed Solomon. The scene ends with this notation: Then Solomon awoke. It had been a dream. He came to Jerusalem, where he stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord. He offered up burnt offerings and offerings of well-being, and provided a feast for all his servants. In our day and age, calling something a dream is to indicate that it was our subconscious mind at work, but Solomon perceived that God had actually come to him in this dream. And notice what he does next. He returns to Jerusalem and makes offerings before the Ark of the Covenant. He has left the high places where he's made thousands of offerings on the altar to other gods, and here makes a few offerings before the Lord. At least for now, his heart has turned to God. And the first thing he does after that as king? He throws a banquet for his servants, his royal staff. Taken together, these are the marks of true wisdom: right relationship with God and right treatment of those who serve. It must have been some kind of dream. Tomorrow, Joseph's dream. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.